Hey out there. It's a little before 9 Saturday morning, September. Let's see, today is I lost track, so I'm not sure. It's like the 19th or something. Maybe probably the 19th, 2014. And I'm in Northern California here, just west of the town of Paradise. And I'm looking east, the foothills to the Sierras here. Quite a spectacular spot with all the bluffs. Goes on and on. Well, today I wanted to talk about a few different things as usual. And one of them is the fact that I woke up this morning feeling particularly frail, let's say, weak. That human condition, that nagging sense that you live in this body that's bound to die, and there's not a damn thing any of us can do about it. And it's a rather unpleasant feeling. And I blame a lot of it on just the sheer miasma that has been invented by our cruel overlords, the top policymakers for our paradigm, let's say. And, I really, when I'm fully in my right mind, I wish I was the nicest guy in the world, And I wish that when I corrected people, when I felt compelled to correct people, because that often comes up in my life, that I feel like I've got to interject and tell people, hey, you're wrong about this. But it's my approach to telling them that I've got to work on. It's called a little thing called tact. And, what I really want to do is be effective. Because, this is a real battle for our hearts and souls, our spirits and our minds. And we all have to just understand how deeply we've been immersed and how enmeshed we all are in this paradigm that is just fraudulent through and through, up one side and down the other. Because it's invented by mean people. Basically, that's all you have to know about the top rulers, is that they're mean. These are the quintessential establishmentarians. They represent the establishment. And they like to play God. They like to usurp God's authority. And they like to have reverence from the people. They like our deep and profound respect, even if that entails imposing fear on the people through tyranny, through economic oppression. It all comes down to money. Everything comes down to money. And all of us out there have to understand these fundamental truths. So while I'm trying to be the nicest guy in the world, and I really don't, not only do I not want to hurt anybody physically, I'm a nonviolent guy, but I don't even want to hurt your feelings, because I don't like my feelings hurt. And one thing I never do, at least, is play head games. I'm not an I told you so kind of guy. I mean, if it turns out I'm right about something, it doesn't matter whether it's important or, in between. The fact is that I'm not going to say, I told you so. I'm not going to revel in myself being right. What I want to do is try to lift as many brothers and sisters out of the muck and mire that is this established system, this beast system with really this spirit of evilness, of meanness at the very top of the dog pile, so to speak. And first of all, it's so important that regular establishmentarian types, those are the ones that really need to be reached, understand just how profoundly we are immersed, we are marinated, we are inculcated, indoctrinated, brainwashed into believing we can trust this system, that it's got to make sense. I mean, civilization's been around for a long time. We've had thousands of years to, become, more civilized society. And, so, this guy's got to be a nut. He's just idealistic, and there's no basis for being idealistic, never has been, never will be, is not today. But I'm here to tell you that's wrong. That idealism is something we should strive for in our hearts and our minds and our spirits and our souls. Like Jesus said, he said, be ye perfect. And really, I am trying to imitate Jesus as best I can, and I know I fail miserably. But, Jesus was not always soft-spoken. He really went off on people when he was really convicted in his heart and mind and spirit and felt like he had to lash out for their own good because they were so off track. Their way, their path was so askew, they were most certainly going to hell. These were the hypocrite class. The same element, the same mentality of people are in control today. But he really went off on these people. It didn't matter who they were. He went off on his own disciples. Remember the disciple, purportedly Peter, that tried to stop Jesus from being crucified. He was willing to fight to the death for him. He cut off the ear of the guard for the high priest. And Jesus told him, get behind me, Satan, because don't you know, I could have, what did he say? A legion of angels, holy angels by my side to save me from the cross. It's not that Jesus wanted to go to the cross, but the point was clear that this all had to play itself out, and that anybody that was opposed to letting things play themselves out in the way that God determined, in his protocol, not ours, his way, not ours, then, he was on the wrong side of history. He had to understand this was prophecy being fulfilled that was foretold thousands of years ago. And while that was a huge benchmark in human history, because since that time, all of us have really been recipients of the grace and mercy and forgiveness that has been poured out on humanity for our sins. As such, I believe there's a lot more levity on earth that we're all taking advantage of, whether we're aware of it or not. People laugh much more easily. And I myself, I may come off as a very serious person. When I do my videos, I do feel it's a very serious matter. But, if you knew me on a very personal level, you'd find out, hey, I laugh, I have fun, I get jocular and jovial, and I have fun because I get things off my chest. I really do. I get to be the person I want to be because I'm not a coward. Basically, that's it. Because I'm willing to stand up to the powers that be and get in their face, just the same way Jesus did. And all of us have not only a right to do that around the world, in China, in Africa, in, wherever it is, Russia, in the Middle East, and all of us have not only a right, but an obligation to do this and to stand up to those powers that be and say, listen, I'm your best friend. I'm the guy warning you. You're on the highway to hell. Okay, I'm trying to save you from going over the cliff and dragging a whole lot of other people that are unaware, that are inadvertently evil. They don't understand just by trusting in this system, having faith in this system, and you as the figurehead of this system, that you're all going to the same place. You're going to hell because ignorance is not bliss, contrary to popular belief. And confusion is deceit, okay? This is a great way to keep people deceived. It's a lie that, somebody told you a lie. They believe the lie maybe. We don't know. You can't judge another person. But one way or another, you ended up believing the lie. And it's that easy. It's that powerful that we're confused. See, if you're confused, you're off balance. It's all a gray area. Well, it could be right, it could be wrong, but I'm going to keep going on this track because, I'm trusting in the powers that be and in this established system. I'm trusting in what they teach me at the universities, what I hear on the mainstream media, what is the popular view of something. And so, their propaganda is very powerful in this manner. It's just, it's really easy to muddy the waters. You could go up to a beautiful clear lake and just chuck a little bit of mud in there, just a little bit, just a handful, and the whole lake will become murky and unclear. And that's really essentially what they've done to all of us. But I'm working on being more tactful. At my age, 56 now, you'd think I'd be a lot more tactful in my life, but I'm very edgy, and I see this everywhere. And we're living in a time that Jesus predicted, I believe. He said in that day, these were days not before the end of the world, like so many will say, but at the end of the age. We're ending one age and we're entering a new age. And things are going to change dramatically and profoundly for humanity. And we all need to prepare by cultivating this new reality with this little window of time that we have while we're alive and walking on the face of this earth. But it's going to change profoundly, and it's going to be very traumatic for those that aren't ready for it. But if you're ready for the kind of changes that are going to take place, it's going to be a lot gentler transition. And one of the ways that things are going to change is that this whole money-based reality that has been foisted on us is all going to be gone. And so when I talk about things like sound currency, I'm really just talking about a means to an end. I'm trying to point out how this transition could have been taking place for thousands of years, and it could have been a very gentle transition into universal prosperity, which, as we know in this system, equals freedom, equals security. So this is something that cannot be held by any percentage of humanity. It doesn't matter how small, medium, or large that percentage is. This has to be something that is universal for all humanity. So the only way we could ever reach that state and do it in a gradual, gentle manner would be through sound currency. But notice this is the one commodity they will not tolerate humanity having, because they know the same things that I know. And I'm trying to convey those truths to you. And, it's just a basic, matter of checks and balances. It's just a matter of saying, hey, look, in a true capitalist society, it's based on supply and demand principles. Okay, and there's elements like risk, and there's elements like competition that are involved. So, that would, if we just let that market work, where we had real competition instead of, special interest groups that were colluding together and fixing their prices, manipulating markets, driving up prices, because it's in their interest. It's very easy to understand why they would manipulate markets and want to fix prices, because everybody wants to, engrave their security in stone. They want to cement their sense of security in this world, and it's all about the money, okay? And we have to understand that everybody has that common denominator. We all want that. But they won't let that happen, so they keep us divided. That's the whole strategy. So that's why at this point in history, humanity hasn't learned anything. Look at our universities and colleges. I mean, they've got the wisdom of the ages at their fingertips, and this is where we're at. We're decivilized. This social Darwinism that they're teaching, whether it's happening on a conscious level or a subliminal level, people get trapped, they get caught up in it. This is that whole, well, I'm inadvertently evil, or, versus the people that are intentionally, advertently evil. And, we've got to understand what's going on here. And the more people that get on board, that have chosen to take the red pill, as an analogy from the movie, The Matrix, this pill that, it's traumatic when you take the red pill, because you become aware of all the evil. You become cognizant of all the deceit and the manufactured, crises and problems and chaos. And it's all this top group that's very top. They're manipulating us. And a lot of people just don't know that they're part of it. I mean, think of all the jobs that depend on the problems being perpetuated. The debt, okay? How come anybody has any money? We, the people, supposedly the nation's in debt. Is that just some of the people of the nation? Apparently it is. Because we still got people walking around, as we know, with billions, trillions of dollars. The mainstream media exalts these people like they're gods or something, when they should be ashamed of themselves. Who needs $1 billion, for crying out loud? What do you think, God's impressed? What a crock, So, these are the people, that get exalted in the eyes of the world. These are the people, these rulers, that these are the ones that are really successful, to the extreme. They're hyper successful. So we should model ourselves after them and bow down and pay homage and be deferent to these people. And I'm telling you, it's quite the contrary. I mean, I'm ashamed of, I've got very little. If most people my age looked at my finances, they would say, oh, that poor bastard. I mean, it's pitiable. Look at his situation. And they have no idea. I'm talking about even maybe my own neighbors where I live. And they have no idea how I feel. I mean, I drive a 14-year-old car with over 200,000 miles on it. It's a luxury sedan. you know? And I've got some nice threads. You know, and I pull up downtown here in Chico, California, and I see a homeless guy pushing his cart full of his possessions, you know, and I'm ashamed.